Okay,
Welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions. Today I have my buddy Ben, who's all the way in Germany. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, buddy. How are
Absolutely
you doing?
good. You've been on this podcast. Well, this is probably your fifth time you've been on, fourth time, third.
Uh, quite a while. I didn't count, but yeah,
Yeah, me either. Who's counting, right? Um,
I'm glad to be back.
yeah, absolutely, buddy. So let's dive right into our topic today because this week is just
Of
heavy in
course.
Bon Jovi news. We got the documentary news. We got news about the
Yeah,
deluxe edition of the debut album, which we're going to talk about. And then there's more news coming this week. So I kind of want to dive right into this topic. So we're going to talk about the night, it's a 40th anniversary deluxe edition of debut. And
yeah,
the band has, to this second, the band has not even announced it yet, which is
yeah. This was
surprising because people is yesterday in different countries started to get it and then we got it here at midnight in the States. And of course, I got up at that early to listen to it, and because I'm crazy. Um, but the fact that the band didn't promote it, or and maybe they'll announce it today, when they announce other news. But
maybe.
yeah, so um, anyway, so this deluxe edition is a brown, has the album and then has a brown border, which is pretty cool because it usually just used to be a black border and the image actually off, top left of the album. I think the brown border is kind of cool. I think it would have been, pretty cool to have a vinyl of it with a brown vinyl,
Yeah, this
but
is right. Yeah,
as you saw, Bon Jovi, they put on up some merch on their website, which right
I
behind
saw
you.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so the new
So
the new vinyl is that I think it's ruby red, if I'm correct. Of course, I pretty
yeah,
mine, the collector and me, and they put out and I gotta correct myself here because actually the LP and the cassette on the website is actually not the special edition, the deluxe edition that we're talking about. It's only just the standard.
yeah,
It's remastered, which is still cool.
yeah. Of
I
course,
wonder how different
but
remastered it is compared to the 2017 remaster. I mean,
exactly.
technology,
Yeah,
yeah, tech has kind of grown quite a bit since 2017. So I do, even just listening to this deluxe edition, it sounds a lot more crisp and clear, and but that's just digital. Vinyl is a whole different
that's right.
animal. Um,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
and,
I
but
love vinyl.
yeah, me too. And one cool I know I'm going on a rant here. One other cool thing that I really like too about the new album cover are on the website is it has the whole band kind of like brought them all closer and has the whole band with the female in the background too. And I
Yeah,
always that should have been the original album cover in my opinion, or ditch the girl and just put the band on there. But who am I? So
yeah,
as of yet, and things could change, but
yeah,
as of now, there's no official, physical release of this deluxe edition. No CD, no vinyl, no anything. So the
yeah.
collector and me, I have to have every edition of every album and blah 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 because I'm crazy. And so I'm really, really hoping that they'll put that out because I know media, physical media is dying, but there's still hardcore fans like you and me that would still love to have that in our hand.
Ab- Absolutely. We need this as a physical copy or thing or whatever, vinyl, cassette, whatever.
Exactly. And before we kind of delve into this deluxe edition, one thing I wish they would have so this deluxe edition has the standard album remastered. I was listening to it this morning. It's a lot more clear compared to our previous releases, and
Yeah,
it has a really high resolution of sound. Um, but with that album, we also got a few different demos of Runaway. And if you listen from the cassette demo to the pre-production to the alt, there
yeah,
you can see how the song grew, and we'll get into that. And then
exactly.
we got some live tracks, which we'll kind of talk over a little bit from Tokyo '85. Um, the only thing I wish they would have done with this is I wish they would have put on some outtakes because there's a lot of cool outtakes.
Yeah, there are.
Tonight and Promises and I Breaking the Night or something like that.
Mhm.
those were really good outtakes, and I wish that would have been included on this. But maybe they'll put it out there at some point, maybe on a future box set. Who knows? But it would have been kind of throwing
maybe,
some outtakes.
when I got through the track list and seeing all the new bonus tracks and all these demo versions and so, I found it very cool that they kept the focus on Runaway because it was the debut single,
Yeah,
and that they really showed the progress how they do in studio from the writing demo pre-production. You really see every step you're going as a musician, and
yep,
I could so much relate to everything, to every version you see in this progress, because I mean, uh, as you know, I'm a guitarist too, and when I go to studio, I'm doing exactly it that way. So I have a lot of files on my phone where I just sit there with the electric guitar and my voice and trying to record some ideas for songs. And this is exactly what John shows here for the progress. So
yeah.
for fans like us, it is absolutely the greatest gift they could give us for this anniversary, in my opinion. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really cool to see some because I've seen a lot of people online. You can't please everyone, and I've seen a lot of people online who are just upset because there's 5 different demos of Runaway. But what I don't think that some understand, I don't say that rudely, I say that respectively, that like I said, you have the cassette write-in demo, then you have the pre-production studio demo, and then you have an
Yeah.
alternate version, then you have an the extended version we'll get into, and then you have the
Mhm.
final version. And so I think for like fans like you and I that play guitar and love to see how a song grows from nothing to what it is, it's pretty cool. So I do like that they did that, and I guess we'll dive right into the Runaway thing. So we'll start off with the cassette write-in demo.
Yeah.
And kind of like what you just said, like you like grabbing a guitar and just singing and recording on your phone. And that's what John
Yeah.
did a lot in the 80s was if he had an idea, he would take a cassette recorder. They didn't have iPhones back in the 80s.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But he would write and record on a cassette and then he'd bring it to the band and it would grow from there. And
Yeah.
that's what this is. It's just a cassette record of him, and I think it's a Fender Strat. It doesn't sound.
Yeah. I think so too. It sounds
Yeah,
very stratty.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And so, I mean, this is like I said, this is a thing that every mm, professional working musician can relate to,
yeah,
because everybody does these things. Because sometimes middle in the night there comes an idea for a melody or for a riff or for some text lines, and if you don't record it like that, then it's gone on the next day. You can't remember. Sometimes yeah,
yeah,
it is like that sometimes, and I bet a lot of my music colleagues can relate to that, and therefore I find it so cool that he released this writing demo.
yeah, yeah. And I really hope, with it being 40th anniversary, and if they do put out a box set later this year, if they do, I hope we get more
Yeah,
songs like demos like this because I just
yeah,
love hearing, because it's only 2 minutes long, and he just does the first chorus, verse, chorus, and then it's done.
yeah,
And so it shows you that roughness to it, and it's all just rhythm and John. And, I think that the
absolutely.
whole demo is just solely John. And
Yeah, but this is and this is yeah, really the way you are doing, because when you record a song, you have to play so a lot of, like, let's call it guide tracks, yeah, or tracks where you show the next instrument or your band members your idea, and then you start with a guitar guide track, and then you add the drums or the keys and whatever, and so the process goes on. So
yeah,
absolutely cool,
yeah,
cool
and
stuff.
not to be a dead horse here, but like we're talking about here, you just said it perfectly. You bring that and then you build onto it, and then build onto it and stuff. And so
Exactly.
let's get into the next one, the Runway
Yeah,
pre-production studio demo.
exactly. Hmm.
Um, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have that heavy key intro yet. What I really really liked about this one, and I think this is probably my favorite well, second, because I love the cassette one. Um,
Yeah.
I love the way that John does the chorus. It's very raw, and like the way that he sings
Mhm.
"ooh," "ooh."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him. And just that echo that's in the chorus too, man. I just eat that up. That's like the best demo. You know?
Yeah. So great. I loved a lot the reverb on his voice.
Yeah.
Um, when I first listened to that version, and the sound of the guitar is awesome on that. For
Mhm.
such a pre-production demo from that time, it is a fucking great sound.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
and the part I love most relates to you that what you said in the chorus, uh, because the end of the chorus is so much different because he does only "Oh, my little runaway" and
Yep.
not the normal phrase. So, and I love so much this version. To I come back to the progress to see it, how it develops, and I love so much to all those live versions because sometimes live they change um, some little things like that end of the chorus, and this is what makes it something special to me when you hear them play
Yeah.
them live, and they bring out some new facets on the song like that. It's great.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, buddy. You know what? And
Thank you.
I'm surprised that you didn't mention this yet, just because you're a musician and all that. Another thing that I really
Yeah,
loved about this is I love guitar solos, I really do. But sometimes,
yeah,
like kind of like when We Weren't Born to Follow got put out, they fans didn't like that initial guitar solo, so they took it out, and the single didn't have the solo, just had that rhythm and stuff. So in
yeah,
this, the guitar solo wasn't there yet, but there was that solo segment of just the rhythm, and obviously later on they record the solo over that. But it was just kind of
yeah,
cool just to hear, no piano, no lead guitar, you just hear the rhythm and stuff. Um,
yeah.
and yeah,
It is so stripped down to the absolutely basics because you only
yeah,
need a rhythm guitar and your voice to show the idea to the others, or record such a guiding track or something like that. I love that reducement of the setting very much.
yeah,
That's the reason why I play a lot of more acoustic than electric guitar because I like that old kind of singer-songwriter stuff, sitting in a bar with your guitar and no mic, and yeah,
yeah, and it's more broken down and stuff, and I think it makes you appreciate, the song a little more,
exactly, yeah,
That's
exactly, exactly,
And then one other thing I wanted to add too, I love the way that it fades out at the end. It's pretty cool, I think.
yeah,
Little detail
absolutely,
there, but I like it. So the next version is the alternate version of Runaway.
yeah,
I'm trying to read my notes here. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'm a very bad handwriter. I don't know if you ever knew that, but I am. But so the keys.
You should see my notes. They are totally crazy.
So this one's called the alternate version. So I wonder if this was maybe intended to be the actual release version, and then they
Mhm.
changed it to what we know it as. But
Yeah,
you get a cool, like a more organ sound of the piano intro in this. It sounds more
it,
like from an
it,
organ.
it
Uh,
is more glossy, more shiny. This piano intro or the
yeah.
key intro.
hmm And then the drums are added to this track.
Yeah,
And it starts to have that lead guitar in it, but it has that, like that first guitar chord has that really loud roar to it, which is pretty cool. And then,
it absolutely has.
has that slide, as you and I both know, but it just sounds slightly different than the final version. Um,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And what I loved about this version is the high notes at the end when he sings the chorus, but an octave up. Wow, they are
yeah,
so great. And I love it more than the original version
yeah.
in that part.
hmm
It is,
Yeah. I love that too. I think it's more raw and
yeah, yeah,
so produced, if that makes sense, like when people get a hold of
yeah.
it and mix it and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So this one's more drum and rhythm driven, I think, just from my, my interpretation of it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It is. You're right. Yeah,
yeah. And I listened to it a few times. I don't see any difference. I could recite this whole song right now. I don't think there's any
yeah.
lyric changes on this. Even like, like
Mm,
the previous version, she's my little runaway or my little runaway. Now it's she's a
yeah.
little runaway. So I don't think there's any
Mhm.
lyric differences between this and the final version. I think it's just all instrumental changes.
Yeah, I think the
Obviously,
same. I noticed a little bit a different solo version in that version. The solo it's kind of a little bit different, but not that much.
yeah,
It's more on the next track on the extended version that we come to next. There is the bigger solo at the end, which I love the most about that extended version. But also in the alternate version, they changed a little bit the solo, some little things in the guitar solo.
yeah, yeah. I guess if I'm looking back, maybe the solo was I should pay more attention to the solo. I came unprepared, I guess. Um, but and
No,
I
no
also love,
problem.
yeah, I love the echo of Runaway before the drums and solo comes in, just the way that echo kind of fades in and fades
Yeah,
out kind of thing.
yeah,
Um,
it's really more present than in
yeah,
all the other versions we know of that song. And this
yeah,
is already when I have this song when I hear it live from a cover band or when I play it live, I love this part the most, and I wish I could do it when I could put the reverb on that part because it's yeah it is a elemental thing that is yeah that you need to have that sound effect when you play Runaway.
yep, yeah.
It's
Okay.
yeah
Yeah. And last thing too about this version is I love that instrumental outro and the way that the organ piano kind of
hmm
ends it. That was a kind of a neat touch. 'Cause for me, I think like what I really love most about the song, especially the final version, is the keys. Like you're at a live show and they started the da 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 boom boom. You know,
yeah yeah
that's what pulls you into the song, man. And
absolutely
you look back at the 80s and a lot of rock bands, especially hair bands, didn't have a piano keyboard player, and so I think
that's
that
right
made Bon Jovi stand out so much is because they did have a keyboard player and they had the best, David Bryan. And
absolutely
that's what made that
no
song
way
stand out so much is because of that, those pianos like, hey, this is different and it's coming from a rock band, you know?
yeah
So
that
that's
that's right it's very characteristic this piano sound for the 80s and not a lot of bands have that.
yeah.
You're totally right. I'm totally
Yep.
with you.
So let's get into the final version. And this one I'm still trying to
Yeah.
learn about. But it's the extended 2024 edition. Now, I saw a lot of people online saying, oh, they
Mhm.
re-recorded it and stuff. Obviously, it's not re-recorded.
No, it's
A lot
not.
of Yeah, a lot of bands have been doing this lately, and I'm glad that Bon Jovi's starting to do it, where they put out a special anniversary album and then they
Mhm.
go into the vaults and they grab different parts of what they recorded but never put together. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm speculating that it did. And they found, okay,
Mhm.
Richie recorded this long outro and we never used it, so now let's put it into this alternative.
Yeah, I think it was that way exactly the
Yeah.
same. Yeah,
And so,
because I mean, you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot reproduce the sound of an 80s recording into
yeah,
now. I mean, you can do a lot of things in the digital time we live in. Um, but I didn't have the feeling that they reproduced it and recorded it completely new from
yeah,
scratch uh, in this year or last year. They never did that, like you said.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I really do like this extended version. The last 50 seconds is what shines for me because it's so different, and I think that's what the extended version is. It has,
Yeah, it's only about the solo at the end. This is
yeah,
the big news on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's more guitar solo driven with drums and the way that it fades out. But the song is slightly different, but it's pretty much the same almost. It just has that extended version at the end, which I think was really cool.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it, and one other thing I wanted to add too, so in
Hmm.
1994 when they were doing Crossroad, because
Yeah.
the band actually, and I should probably back up here because this extended version, it might not have been Richie because it was that all-star band that John recorded with Runaway because Runaway wasn't
Yeah.
actually with the band. So I gotta correct myself there, I guess.
I, I, I had that feeling when I heard it too. Sometimes that it could be another person and not Richie playing the
Yeah,
guitar at the demos. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but so in 1994, because the band did not actually record Runaway, that's on the debut album, they were gonna
Yeah.
re-record it and call it Runaway 94 and put it on Crossroad. And
Yeah.
maybe they didn't, but I don't think that they actually even recorded. I think they just kind of scrapped the idea and they did Prayer 94, um,
Mhm.
which is what we know. So even if
Yeah.
they did record Runaway 94 and didn't put it on the album, it would have been cool if they would have put that on this release. That's all hypothetics, but that would have been
Yeah,
cool
it is.
on this. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
before we get to the comeback demo, was there anything that you wanted to say about the Runaway demos?
Let me just go through my notes, but I think we talked about everything I noticed. Um, no, I think we talked about everything I recognize I noticed at the songs, and I think we can go to come back.
All right, I'll come back to come back. So this is called comeback reference vocal, which
Yeah.
so it's obviously a demo, but I wonder if it was just kind of more like an instrumental recording. And obviously John does sing on it, but I wonder if like
Yeah.
he's like laying down the vocal track on this. But so
Yeah.
this is a really cool demo. I like the John and Richie chat in the intro. Like if you look at some of the box set, or the songs on the box
Yeah.
set, or you listen to
That's
Hey
right. Yeah.
God, and you get that chat. I love that, at the beginning of the song because it makes you
Yeah. That studio atmosphere, and yeah.
yeah, exactly. It makes you more feel more in the studio and stuff. So that was kind of cool. And it's only like 3, 4 seconds, but still pretty cool. Um, I,
Yeah. It is.
I love the guitar rhythm in the beginning, then it goes into the track. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely great. That.
And in so John actually doesn't sing like the first 2 lines, I don't think, and then he gets into it.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah. First of all, I thought it is a real only instrumental track, because he didn't start singing where you expected, where
yeah,
the
that's
the,
what I
the
thought
verse
too.
starts. And I thought, wow, cool, we get a full instrumental track now. So it's good for all the guitar players who want to play that song along, and everything. So what I love most on this version is where he sings the solo, because I mean it's
Yeah,
a real reference track for his voice. I bet when he sang the original voice, when he recorded it, he had this version on his in-ear monitorings, or on his
yeah,
headphones, as a reference for him to doing second vocals, or yeah, getting the right tone and all that stuff. So it is a real reference track, other to the writing demo from Runaway. Yeah, this was more the demo version, and here it's his reference for his recording voice. So yeah, it's another step in that production process of the song.
yeah,
And when it comes to that, he sings this solo and he goes da 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 da, and he sings the melody of the
yeah,
solo he wanted Rich to play. Is so cool to see. Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of cool to see the way he does it.
Yeah, that was my favorite part too. You know, but he's just kind of
Yeah,
the solo and stuff. And who knows if the solo was in there yet, or if he was doing the IEM. Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty cool. And another thing that I really like too about this is one of my favorite things about the final version of Comeback is the band's backing vocals. You know, come back, back.
yeah,
Where it echoes out, and then
yeah,
John comes in because I need your love, come back. But that's
yeah,
not in this. It's just John singing it,
exactly.
and so I thought that was kind of cool. Uh,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
yeah, and mind you, this is like the first time that we've ever heard demos from the first album. So it was
Yeah,
kind of cool
it is.
to see how the band kind of came together and
Yeah,
recorded some of these songs. I wish they would have done more than just Runaway and Come Back, especially because now we're in the digital era. Back then, you could only put so many tracks on an album, but now, look at Taylor Swift. She put like 30 songs on a version of hers. And so I
yeah.
wish, they could have had the opportunity, and I'm not complaining. I'm still happy with what we got. I always want more. But it would have been
Yeah,
I would have loved like a roulette demo or She Don't Know Me demo, or even a Shot Through the Heart demo would have been really cool to hear. But
yeah. Burning for Love is one of my favorite tracks of this album. Burning for Love and Come Back and Runaway. These are my three favorite tracks. So I'm pretty happy that they did it with Come Back, uh, this version,
yeah,
that they added now, to the this deluxe edition. But yeah, as you said, we never get tired, and we could have demos of all songs they did. So
yeah.
it
Ex-
would
So
be a cool thing. So really hoping for the box set to come out with stuff like that.
yeah, and one thing I wanted to add too, and I forgot in the intro before we get
Yeah.
into the live tracks, they also so if you download like I bought the album on iTunes, and they have two uh I think it's in 4K. But the high quality music videos of Runaway and She Don't Know Me. And I think Runaway's been put out there in 4K, but She Don't Know Me wasn't, and now it is. So I don't know if it's on YouTube,
Oh,
but yeah, so if you buy the iTunes version, you get the music videos.
okay. I have to check this out because I only listened on Spotify,
Yeah.
and didn't buy it as a download. Yeah.
So we won't go to there's something that you want to say about a specific track, but just kind of an overview of
Yeah.
the five tracks. I was surprised that well, I shouldn't say surprised, but like with this being 1984, there was I mean, they
Mhm.
toured extensively in 84, opening up for different bands. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
really cool audio recording. And I don't know if they do, but I wish if they did, if they had their recorded first Madison Square Garden show where the amp blows up and stuff. And I think they do because I think there was an interview Richie did years and years ago where he said they had that audio and it's just terrible. But that would have been kind of cool to put on this, because that was like their big thing that year. Hey, we're playing Madison Square Garden. Um, but what I'm trying to say is I'm surprised that every single live track is from Tokyo 1985 instead of
Yeah.
they went to Japan in 1984 and they went to all these different countries in 84. And there's actually some really good audio out there, even on YouTube, of
That's right.
these songs. And so they put out four live tracks for us: Roulette, Runaway, Get Ready, and what was the other one? Breakout.
Right now. Yeah.
Breakout is so in 2010 special, and I know that the majority of people, let me back up. A lot of people are probably buying this and don't realize what you and I realize that
Mhm.
three of these live tracks, Roulette, Runaway, and Get Ready, were actually on the 2010 special edition album. So we already
It
have,
was indeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Breakout was the only one that was not, it wasn't the Japan version. So that was kind of cool that we got. That was one new live track that we got. I will give credit though because if you and I compared, if you listen to the 2010 edition of these live tracks
Yeah.
and now it is much higher quality. So that I appreciate very much. You know?
It is. I'm totally with you in the quality thing, but yeah, I was kind of wondering why they did um yeah, just that little addition with the quality on that songs, even if they had released it in the 2010 version, as you said, and um, the Runaway version from Tokyo '85 was already on the live record One Wild Night Live, '85 till 2001. So
Yeah,
these four live versions are all well-known released versions of that songs. I mean, even in better quality, yeah, of course. But I was more impressed by the other bonus tracks from One Runaway and Come Back than on this live thing. You know,
yeah,
I mean, I expected something more new stuff,
yeah.
and not just yeah, change a little bit, make the quality better, and put it on that. Yeah, it's a little low, let's say it like that.
Yeah, I don't want to come up like I'm complaining because I truly am appreciative of this
No, it's
addition.
it's not a real complaint, but
Yeah,
I expected another thing as I went through the Runaway versions and I saw that step of the development and what they give the fans on top
yeah,
on that. And
yeah,
I was a little bit disappointed when I saw only this four live versions
yeah,
that we already know.
yeah.
That's the
And
point.
that's what I'm thinking here. And I don't want to complain. And I'm very
Yeah,
appreciative of this deluxe edition. I really am. I love that
absolutely.
we got the remastered album, we got the demos. But the live tracks were kind of a letdown because like okay, as diehards, we already got these. We've got them through the years on
Yeah,
singles on the 2010 special edition, so it's always been out there. I would just love to have had actual 1984 debut tour songs.
yeah,
Like even stuff
recording.
that never put out.
Exactly.
Like the way that they did "She Don't Know Me" live was really good. Or "Love Lies"
Yeah.
but uh,
Mhm.
now to give credit to the 1985, like they're phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but that was during a different era, 7800 era and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
but hey,
absolutely. But maybe it's the point because when it is right that there comes a box set, like we know the last box set, um, maybe they said, okay, on this deluxe version, we concentrate on the Runaway track with the new stuff for the fans, and the other
yeah,
demos of the other songs, we keep that for the release of the box set, the
yeah,
possible release when
the,
it comes this year.
exactly. And the thing is where we have to understand where we're coming from, and this is something I have to remind myself a lot, is that we're
Yeah,
super diehard fans. We've heard everything, everything that's been put out and stuff, even stuff that's leaked.
that's right. Yeah,
The band, it's like the documentary, for example. And before I end this recording, I kind of wanted to, you know, say this. The
hmm
documentary, is going to cover, a lot of stuff that we already know, and hopefully,
yeah,
more insight on stuff that we never knew before. So with me saying that, it's kind of like these songs here. Like we know that these songs have existed, but to the general public who listens to Bon Jovi every once in a while, they might throw this album on Spotify and say, "Oh, this is the first time I've heard this live track of Get Ready." And so the band kind of has to find that compromise between the general public and the diehards, and I don't know, but I'm with you. I wish they would have put out some '84 live versions. I'm rambling here.
yeah, yeah. Even I mean, uh, I know live versions so much, so that I'm very happy about every live recording they put
Yeah,
on CD or
yeah,
they release because yeah, there are not so many live CDs of Bon Jovi or live recording stuff. And
exactly.
me as a musician, I always love live versions. Uh, doesn't matter if it's Bon Jovi or Aerosmith or Scorpions or other great bands. I always love hearing them live and hearing the recordings of the live because, in my opinion, there you can see if a band really has a quality and knows what to do. and he knows how to play, and you only feel that when you see them live or you hear a live recording, because in studio everybody can be good
Yeah.
nowadays. Uh, and this is a great problem, in my opinion, from the complete music industry. Um, that every boy who has 1 year of vocal coaching and guitar lessons goes to the store, buys a audio interface, records it, and releases it on Spotify and Apple Music. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. The quality isn't that good as in '83 when Bon Jovi started, and all the great bands who are successful until today. So this is, in my opinion, a great problem of
Yeah.
music industry.
Absolutely. And you kind of bring me to my last point that I wanted to make.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen to these live tracks, like you watch a lot of footage from 80, 84, 85, and
mhm.
you see how driven, like you even listen to these live tracks on this deluxe edition, and you see how great of a band they were. Because like you said, you can go into a studio and anyone can sound good in a studio, but to
Yeah.
go live and actually play live and be
Play
able to
that,
be good.
make
Yeah,
exactly, make that show around it, and yeah,
yeah,
in this recording, you can really feel the connection they have during their performance to
yeah.
the audience.
Hmm.
And this is what I'm. This is the great thing. What I'm missing today when playing live. Um, everybody in the audience stands there holding up his iPhone recording. It's a totally different
Yeah,
atmosphere. I wish I could be back in time at the '84 tour or something like that.
yeah.
This would be a great thing for me.
You hear how tight of a band they were and how good and the talent that each of them
Yeah,
had, how it just added a
that's the
touch to
point
it.
I wanted to say. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, was there anything else that you wanted to say before I end the recording?
I think we talked
Just pretty
a
much.
lot of in detail about those things, and at the moment, I don't have something to add.
Yeah. All right, but let me end this. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and it was great to chat with you about it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as any time with you.